Good evening. Welcome to the 5-8, where we discuss each of the week's 5 most fucked up topics for 8 minutes. 5 topics, 8 minutes, 2 hosts, a guest, some singing, a lot of curse words, and as many cocktails as we deem necessary. LB, how are you?
I'm good. Having tea.
Oh, no more tequila?
No, did I have tequila? I so rarely do that.
I know, no.
On
You
any
had
level,
tequila.
actually.
Yeah, you had
I mean,
tequila
as
last
you get
week.
older,
It
it's
was
just
fun.
hard.
It was
It's
fun.
hard. No. I'm back to my tea. What are you having?
This is a gin and tonic with Empress
Oh,
gin.
that's nice. Yeah, refreshing.
So I've got that going.
Refreshing on a
Yeah.
brisk night. A brisk New York night. It's getting to be fall. How are you? How was your week? It's good to see you.
You too. You too.
Yeah.
I can't remember anything that I did all week. I don't know. This is like a thing. Like one day goes by and I do what I need to do, and then I just forget what's happening or who I talked to or what I did. And no, but I think everything is pretty okay. I think in my neck of the woods, it looks beautiful outside. Certainly the foliage is lovely. I was driving across the Poughkeepsie Bridge there today, and it was stunningly nice. So we've got that going for us. Even
Looks
Donald
like
Trump
story.
can't take that away.
No.
I mean, he can. He has nuclear weapons, but whatever. He's not going to right now.
Don't tempt him.
He's not going to right now. He's not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy. We have a lot. Oh, I forgot to do the banner. We have a lot of topics to discuss here. Here are the topics. We have a great guest coming on, which we're excited about. We're excited about him. There's so many topics that there's stuff we can't even cover because there's not enough room. But I read this thing and it was a meme and I wasn't sure if it's real, but apparently it's not just the Daily Mail. Multiple sources in Europe, for some reason, are reporting that Pete Hegseth has been doing Botox. This isn't even a joke. This is real. He's been doing Botox. This is multiple news outlets now to try to smooth out the skin. I mean, like all Mar-a-Lago wives, right? This is what he does. He's going to have the face, him, Putin, all the people. So it's just funny. Like the reason why they broke the story, of course, is because, he's up there yelling at these people,
the generals, yelling about manlyhood and we got to come back. And then he goes and gets his injections and sits in front of his makeup mirror.
That's what he does. Very manly. Manly, a manly thing. And when we say manly, we mean stereotypical manly in the way that he and the people he's talking to perceive manliness, not actual manliness.
No, not actually manliness.
Yeah. Just to be clear.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I think and then I was thinking like, oh, there's all these things. What did we forget? I forgot that Barry Weiss is taking over CBS News.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how long that'll last.
I think like at this rate, like, are we going to take over ABC News at some point? Like we're just giving it to people on Substack. Like, I'm here,
come and get it.
We'll do it. Can't do a much worse job than whatever the hell she's going to do.
Oh right? My goodness. Yeah.
It's
just right in line of all that. Listen, there's also, what was the thing that Dominion voting machines got bought out by some mega MAGA donors. So that's why all that sort of lawsuits and all that stuff kind of went away.
Oh, sorry. No, the Qataris just own the airport.
Oh, and the Qataris are going to own the military. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at some bases, at least. And then Hegseth, that just happened. And we were thinking, we don't know enough about this. This is like this was a couple hours ago, you guys, and it has blown up because at least MAGA is awake for that. We'll talk with our guests maybe a little bit of that, like what's actually piercing through, what gets through.
Laura Loomer's out. She's not going to vote anymore.
Is that what she said? What happened? What do you mean? This is news to me.
Because of Qatar, because of this decision.
Oh, that did. Oh, I missed her. I should have.
The whole thing is Hegseth said something like, we're going to have, basically he made it seem like we're going to give them an Air Force base in Idaho. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking? Why would we do this?
Now we're going to allow, we have bases in Germany and Korea and, we
and Qatar. We have one there.
Yeah, for sure. And so it was like, why not let them have bases in America? And, I don't know, but he's trying to clarify it, but
that's not what it is. It's just like, they're going to go there and do some training. He can't even make a fucking announcement correctly.
He's too drunk.
He might derail the entire Trump presidency because he's too busy getting the Botox went to his brain or what's left of it. I don't know if it's the Botox or the gin.
Work with.
It's not great. And that's it. It's just crazy. It's just
Okay, well,
anyway, that's not even a topic. That's
none of this is a topic. Who has time?
I was trying to
who has time?
Fish or cut bait, like cutter bait.
Oh, you're trying to get that. Go there with your dadness.
Wouldn't
do
work.
that, dad. Do that, dad pun.
I apologize. I apologize to everybody watching that I could not
do that dad joke. All right, I'm getting the timer ready. Anything else you want to say at the top of the show?
No, just welcome everybody. It's been another crazy batshit week.
Yay.
Every week it gets worse and worse and worse. And here we are. Yeah. So we're going to try to mock them this week. We're going to try to keep it light. And, AOC said she went on live and said, especially with regard to Stephen Miller, laugh at them. So what we're going to do is we're going to laugh at them.
Sure.
That's what we're going to try to do.
That's it. We're going to try to do it.
They can be evil and also mockable at the same time. They're not mutual, things are not mutually exclusive.
Difficult. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. We're going to try to rise to the occasion here.
Mm-hmm. We're going to rise.
Yeah. I like what Portland's doing. They're all now getting in their it's not furries, it's blown up costumes or whatever. They're all different characters and dancing around as these great big, cartoon characters just to mock the whole situation. That's what has to be done.
That's it. Lola was doing this in California like 2 months ago. So now Lola. It's sprung. It's sprung out. It's a thing.
Start a movement.
Yeah.
All right. 8 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
Retribution. First topic.
Like, I don't know how much more obvious this can be. Kosh Patel went on every podcast under the sun and said, if we get back in there, we're going to go after people with lawfare and civilly and criminally. That's what he said multiple times. Then we make him the head of the FBI, and Pam Bondi, who's even worse and more corrupt, the head of the DOJ. They can't find anybody qualified who will actually indict people. So they decide upon this. I don't know who she is. She placed fourth in the Hope Hicks lookalike contest or something, and has never. I mean, I read this thing. Somebody was posting on Bluesky. She actually wrote in the indictment, Brooklyn, NJ. It's not Brooklyn, New Jersey. It's actually Brooklyn, New York. Like, she got that wrong. Okay. No. So even the level of detail is non-existent. I think people are just letting her shitty typos go by and not doing anything.
That's not a typo.
That's just, whatever.
That's just dumb.
It's dumb.
It is a cactusocracy. We are being run by the, and he's,
Comey was in court this week with his indictment. Tish James is now indicted, which is even more ridiculous. Yeah. And, Bolton is apparently the next guy that's going to go down. I wouldn't want to mess with Bolton. I feel like he knows how to fight these guys where it hurts.
I think he will. I remember that woman we had on, she's on the news programs. I apologize for not knowing her name and calling her that woman, but I don't know her name. So I can't remember. And she was a Republican strategist, and she was like, if they get back in.
Oh, Amanda Carpenter. Yeah.
Yes. Amanda Carpenter. Mm-hmm. And I had a little bit of a visceral reaction to her, because it was like, you're still pretty GOP-ish to me in this moment. But that's okay. That it's nothing wrong with that per se, except she was really pushing this strange narrative of the retribution is going to be Republicans. He's going to go after Republicans. And we were all supposed to be in a panic for the Republicans, and Republicans were the victims, and oh my God, Republicans. And I think that's what it was. It was like, I think he's going to come for, the prosecutors and the blue state governors. Like, I think he's coming for Democrats, but also just professionals, people who are professional in their jobs that held him to account. And she really disagreed with me on that. She really thought it was going to be, I think maybe her, I don't know.
And it's Hegelian dialectic, because you're both right. They're going after everybody.
Everybody.
He doesn't care what party you're in. He doesn't care what party he's in. No, there are no parties anymore. You're either a fascist or you're not. It's at this point, that's what's happening. And it's not just these big name people. He's firing people at the FBI who are even working on cases with him, who are even part of the investigation, which isn't even a choice. That's just that they get assigned this, and now they're get fired. Which I think the idea of like laying off a quarter of the FBI if you're Trump, is probably a stupid thing to do. It's not what I would do. I wouldn't want these guys sitting around just pissed off and with nothing.
Oh,
to do.
he's just gonna brutalize more at that moment. He'll figure it out then. He'll figure out something. Everything is really, truly. There's a plan. It's Project 2025. They've been at it hardcore. We got hoodwinked. Everybody got hoodwinked. And still, tangentially, that they're just doing it and then kicking kicking whatever the consequences are down the road to deal with the consequences in some other way, and we'll just be more horrible. We'll just break the law in more ways. We'll just rip to shred the Constitution in every way we can. It doesn't, because nothing matters. Nothing matters.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing matters. It just, other than for Donald, you hurt my feelings,
right?
Or you came for my money, or you told me no. It could just be something like that. You told me no.
Oh my God, we're 14 minutes in. We haven't mentioned the Pulitzer Prize for Peace Prize yet, or the
oh
Nobel
my
Peace Prize.
God. Yes.
This is what's happening. This is what's happening. The news is.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll have to get to that. We're going to do that in the mocking, but so it's bad, and no one seems to be stopping any of it. So hopefully the courts will hold up, and justice can kind of kick in a little bit, maybe for these, especially like for Tish James. And listen, I know Comey has issues with so many people, so many groups, and so many, but he come on, like,
he's not a
going
liar.
after him is not okay. And we should not. I remember when it was pretty easy to see back in 2018 that this guy was, this mobster was heading at, trying to destroy and all the guardrails of justice, and we had to get rid of him. And if he was, I didn't even think he would make his way back if we got rid of him, but he did. That he was just going to keep tearing it down. Because who wants the FBI dismantled? The mafia. Wow. Criminals.
Yeah.
That's like a wet dream. So it's anyway, I don't really know what I was going to say with that, other than it's all predictable. I made a pitch at the time. It's like, we've got to get on the streets for the rule of law, right? This guy, and I was literally laughed at in the room. It's like, nobody's gonna. What do you think people care about that? They're gonna go. And it wasn't like a law and order thing. That folks I was talking to, and my reaction truly was, oh my God, we can't have a president who's above the law, right? That's bad. If that should motivate people. We can't have this. This is going to just really be the biggest thing that tears apart our democracy, and so it is. And apparently, we can have a president above the law.
I have to say, you mentioned something about the courts. I think the circuit courts, or circuit, as Stephen Miller pronounces it when he struggles to say the word.
Oh God.
Circuit, he says, have been doing a good job. I think maybe the answer is let's just get rid of the Supreme Court entirely and just rely on the circuit people.
That would be amazing.
Then one of them and rotate it around, and that's it. Done. Why do we need these people? The circuit,
no, they make a lot of
good work,
apparently make a lot of money.
I guess. I don't know.
Being justices, right?
One more thing about retribution is that he's also taking retribution in places that he doesn't like, such as Chicago, which I think he has a vendetta against because of Obama. And maybe Al Capone. I don't know.
No,
what
it's
mafia
just,
stuff. I think it's just that.
It's a successful, thriving city with a lot of African Americans. He just doesn't like it.
And I think Portland, he legit has been watching films of like AI films of I don't know if he's watching like clips of Fallujah or something, but it's not Portland what he's seeing. And he even said it the other day. He was like, well, in the footage I'm seeing, is it real? He said this. He admitted basically that what they're showing him or what he's seeing on Fox or whatever isn't real. So he's trying to create this reality of Portland. And I think thank God for the dinosaur people and it's a
Yeah.
very funny group of people there.
They figured it out. That's what you have to do.
People haven't been to Portland. No one knows people in Portland, like generally.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme, everyone's been to Chicago. Everyone's been to DC. People have been to LA. If there's a place there that's on fire, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, that's not in Portland. A lot of people just don't know. So I think it is easier for them to manipulate the optics there than in other places, simply because people aren't familiar with the city. So the more footage there is of just how lovely it is and people hanging out and doing, I don't know, hacky sack and raw milk or whatever the fuck they do there, I think the better. I think so. Carrying their umbrellas to the breweries, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all Portland.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's also bizarre. Okay, I hit the thing before, right as the timer was going up, so I don't think anybody heard it, but timer has gone off.
Okay.
If we want to move on from that, I don't know. Do we have a bottom line for the retribution? I think it's just going
to keep coming. The retribution is going to keep coming until he is stopped. Period.
He's stopped.
That's it.
That's it.
Everybody's going to get retributed. Is that a word? I just made it up.
Yeah, you made it up.
It is now.
Yeah, we're all going to get retributed.
It is now.
Oh God. All right. Next topic. Oh yeah, here he's back. He's back.
Who's he?
Jared Kushner.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Has returned. Yeah. They really tried to distance themselves because they took a societal hit in their little elite circles.
They did.
Truly, that's what it was. So it was like, just get away from Donald. It's toxic. Jared got his money, right? He got his FU money from the Saudis at the exiting. Everybody seems to forget that. Remember, Jared supposedly brought peace to the Middle East in Donald's first term. Remember all that, everybody? By 2020, it was like Jared
the Abraham Accords. It's so wonderful.
Peace in the Middle East. It's the Abraham Accords or whatever it was, and Bahrain is in there for some weird reason, and there was going to be peace now. Peace. Jared has brought peace. And then we have the worst war in that territory. I'm not laughing about the war, but it's like, oh my God, it's never been worse. For the last, 2 years?
Yeah.
To the day almost. And so who's going to bring peace back? Jared, here he comes.
He's coming out of retirement. Like it's
coming out of retirement, and my whole reaction to that, not just because I write about organized crime, not anything, and knowing his family and those ties and the Trumps and their whole history. But and then Koff, I think, was in there.
Yeah, Koff was there.
The real estate guys that whose partners get taken down for money laundering for transnational organized crime. the real estate guys who in the past have run business fronts for money laundering, for real criminals and crime syndicates, and oligarchs, and in bed with oligarchs and doing secret meetings with Russian state bankers, and these guys, right, who are in there, and Russian state bankers, what that means is mafia, Russian mafia, who are in there just constantly doing deals with the worst criminals on the planet, showing up to BB's, to sort of say, yeah, it's time for this to be over now. We've got some real estate to build on the Gaza Strip. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for clearing the way, but you're getting in the way of our money now, and it's time. That's just what I saw. I just was like, my takeaway from that is, oh, they're ready to get on with business, putting up their hotels and their resorts. Mm-hmm. That it's a big job ahead, and these guys are ready to start making some money. They did the demo. Now they gave an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so disgraceful and awful that it's almost unthinkably evil, I think we should say,
Yeah.
Just to state the obvious. But they've been talking, and by they, I mean Kushner and Trump, about, the beachfront property, and it'd be a great place for condos. And
what was he calling it? Trump had a term for Gaza. What did he call it? It wasn't the Miami Beach of something, but something. He said
Riviera.
The Riviera. Yeah, he wants to make it another Riviera. Mm-hmm. That's all they see. You know, I'm sorry. I feel like I can say this because the last time this guy was in there for peace in the Middle East, he walked away with $2 billion from Saudi Arabia.
Yep. Yes, he did.
And started some AA, something that then get folded into the Heritage Foundation. Like and went and bought EA Games. He's this person. I don't believe he gets involved unless he knows there's a financial windfall for him. Why else come out of the woodwork when they had so successfully separated themselves from Donald right at the height of, for what I feel like is a really kind of sketchy, dangerous moment for his wife with all the Epstein stuff, threatening to break out. So I'm sorry to be so cynical about it. Does it mean it's not a welcome thing that there's an end to this thing that needs to be over? No, please let it be over. It's not that. I can't get past this sinking feeling, it's just like a sinking feeling.
Yeah.
Because that guy's involved.
It's like we've seen the movie before. I mean, in the first term, he was involved because he was in debt. Remember, he had that horrible building that he bought, 666 Fifth Avenue.
With the 666.
And he needed who gave him? It was the Qataris.
The Qataris.
What do you know? Everything that goes around comes around, as they say. But moving on to Ivanka quickly. Ivanka, I've been monitoring her Instagram page because it's interesting to me what she's been doing, because she has been conspicuously absent for this entire second term. You haven't seen hide nor hair of her. I told you, I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, the weekend when we all thought Donald was dying, she was with her friends on the beach and posted a picture of them with fireworks in the background, which seemed weird to me.
Yeah.
Or some kind of subtext, or maybe it was nothing. I don't know. But it's interesting that she's been very, very far removed. And the only time that she's come out to say anything is because of this. There's the picture of her and the wall praying, and she wrote, "I'm proud of my dad," for blah, blah, blah. But she has not been, ever since she changed her profile picture a week after I wrote about her Instagram page. Not that I will. I did that. It's been not political there at all. And it's interesting now she's coming in because, as you pointed out in our conversations, the Epstein stuff, she was around when that was happening, and she was in the demographic
with him. She was 12 to 14. Her parents
were 12 years old at Tiffany's wedding, at Marla's wedding.
At Marla's wedding to her dad.
Mm-hmm.
So she's there. All those pictures we see with him, with her on his arm, dad's taking her out into his world, whether it's to, and with Jeffrey Epstein, right? And I think is there some with Jean-Luc Brunel in there? It's odd, some of these images, and look, divorced dads, it's your weekend or it's your night or whatever, or it's like, I've got something fun, take the kids to, take Ivanka to. It's just, we always were a little freaked out about how he spoke about her, how he behaved with her on camera, not just for when she was a young girl, but when she was an older adult, the kind of stuff he would say, like, we have sex in common, just stuff that, it's not appropriate, and he didn't know it wasn't appropriate, and he's saying it on camera in front of the world. So,
and if he's saying it on camera in front of the world, what is he saying?
I don't want to go there too much. I just, like, as you said, this whole thing could have been put to bed. This whole stuff, both with Epstein and Donald and their closeness and their friendship and all this stuff, and what everybody wanted to get to the bottom of what all of that was, and then, the Epstein estate having all this stuff and journalists getting it piece by piece. Here's the thing in the birthday book, all these things. As you said, both her and Melania, who was also then not that long after around the whole scene. Either one of those women could have stepped up and said, I was there. This was just me and my, you don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine. And they haven't done that.
They have not.
Like, Melania went and talked about her conversations with Putin.
Yeah.
She went and stood at a podium yesterday? Today, and talked about talking to Putin.
Because she has an open channel to Putin.
She's got an open channel to Putin. Okay, so you are talking. You are standing up at a platform. You're willing to talk about your relationship with Putin, but you won't dismiss the stuff swirling around your husband, the president, and you were there. She was there.
Yeah, they were there.
She was one of their models. As you said, Ivanka could have been like, I loved beauty pageants, so my dad bought me one. So what?
Yeah. She did host Miss Teen USA when she was 15, when she was getting into the...
She hosted it when she was 15, but she just, I don't know. It's all like, who knows? These people are so weird. I don't know.
Yeah, they're weird.
So the weirdos are back.
The weirdos are back.
I don't trust them. They're looking to make a buck and trying to push Pinterest Barbies out there. You know, they're doing their weird stuff again. I don't think we needed them in the mix. I think one term of those two, of Javanka, was enough, of Daisy and
Tom Buchanan.
Yeah.
Or Jared wishes he was Tom Buchanan. Come on now.
Jared wishes he was Tom Buchanan.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we don't need this gilded crap anymore.
Okay, so I did say we were going to go hard at them. I did say we were going to mock them. I'm going to apologize in advance.
Mom and Dad, just go like this.
Mom, just fast forward for the next minute.
Fast forward.
Yeah, it's okay.
And AOC is you're her favorite target apparently on Instagram. Check this out.
He looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10", and he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taking that anger out at any other population possible. Like, laugh at them. Laugh at them.
Don't want no short dick
laugh
man.
At them. Laugh at them.
Don't want no short dick man. 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 What in the world is that fucking thing? You need some fucking tweezers to put that little thing away. That has got to be the smallest dick I have ever seen in my whole life. Get the fuck out of here.
In the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Shriveled little short dick man.
Stephen?
Don't want no short dick man.
Hey, Stephen, can you hear me?
No short dick man. Don't want no short dick man.
Laugh at them. Laugh at them.
Don't want no short dick man.
Laugh at them.
There you go. That's a real song, by the way, from 1994. So shout out to 20 Fingers and Gillette. I feel like that song was made for this. I feel like it was made for this moment. It was made for this moment.
Yeah,
and,
30 years early.
Our apologies for the crassness, but look at where we are.
Our poor guest.
I know. I was going to say our guest. He's been on a media tour around the world to promote this book that he has coming out, which is called "The Seven Mountains Mandate: Exposing the Dangerous Plan to Christianize America and Destroy Democracy." I don't think in any of the other times that he's done media, he's followed something like this. So I think we're
breaking some ground.
Yeah. He's also an associate professor of rhetoric and composition at the University of North Georgia at Gainesville. And he is the world's leading authority on Turning Point USA.
True.
Matthew Boedy, welcome.
Matthew,
to
welcome to the 5'8".
I would have to say I've never been introduced or had to follow that.
I'm sorry.
My apologies.
It's great. Oh, this one.
I have the first question I have for you. This is the most important thing I think that's on everybody's mind. How bad will the Turning Point USA counter-programming Super Bowl halftime show be? What should we expect from this?
That's right.
Well, they do put on good events. I mean, well-organized, television-produced kind of thing. So it's not going to be bad in that regard. I think it will depend upon what country music star they get. And I'm guessing that's the direction in which they're going to go, because it has to be American. It can't be Catholic or Hispanic. But they might surprise us. But I do think what they're going to do at halftime is both have a musical guest or whatever, but also have some sort of turning point ad that's going to be really heavily on, assassination, martyrdom rhetoric, and, join Turning Point, donate here. And that may be iffy, but they often do good productions. Whether or not you agree with their politics, they're good at putting stuff together. Now, where they're going to film this, I don't know, but it's obviously not going to be outside in the parking lot of the actual Super Bowl.
No, I would think that. I was thinking as you were talking about who they could get. I mean, the obvious answer is Kanye West, which would probably be the funniest thing that ever happened. But I don't know. I don't want to give them any ideas. So first, let's talk about your book. You've written this book. It's called. It's about the Seven Mountains Mandate, and obviously you wrote it before all this stuff went down. But let's start with that. Talk about what the Seven Mountains Mandate is.
I believe it to be a very simple strategy of Christian nationalism, which is the desire to Christianize America. So there's different elements to Christian nationalism. Do you believe America's a Christian nation? Do you believe it's founded as a Christian nation? But what the Seven Mountains Mandate is to remake America into a Christian nation. They believe that it was taken from them or destroyed, or there are anti-Christian forces persecuting Christians all around the nation, and particularly these cultural institutions. The mountains are a metaphor for the seven institutions of our culture, and these are not made up by divine revelation. They're in textbooks all around, sociology. So education, family, government, media, entertainment, religion, and business. I always leave one out when I do the seven. But the Seven Mountains Mandate, the mandate part, is for Christians to take back these institutions, for individuals to go to the high places, was what they call them, and run these. So it is, in some manners, if you think about Christianizing America, whether or not you think should be like the majority of people be Christians or mass evangelism, this is not that. This is institutional control. It's a minority movement on purpose. They, as a minority, the white evangelical Christian culture, they want to impose that culture on the rest of us, and the rest of us being a majority that they're in the minority against. The last thing about the book is, of course, I'm suggesting that the Seven Mountains Mandate, which has been around about 50 years, Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA are the heir to it. They are the quintessential Christian nationalism organization, but now they're the indispensable organization for this movement, this mandate for conservative causes, and that Charlie himself had turned Turning Point in this direction right around when the pandemic started. So that is the crux of the book.
Okay. Can I ask you something a question occurred to me, because you are the expert on this and you have done so much, and thank you for your book, all of that. Does as they're defining white Christian culture and their seven mountains that they're going to take over, institutionalizing themselves, right? Taking over those things. Does any of that include the teachings of Jesus?
Yes, because they've taken the Jesus.
Ones?
Well, yeah, they've taken the Jesus that we know, the gospel Jesus, the turning the other cheek, the feeding the poor, the healing the people. They accept that, but they've added to that Jesus, if you will, Jesus that is.
They've improved their Jesus.
Okay. The Jesus that is coming back is the Jesus they like, not the Jesus that was crucified. The Jesus as victor, as king, as who's going to use the sword of justice to defeat his enemies, which is in Revelation. They like that Jesus. Jesus to them is not a guy with a beard and the robe walking through the clouds. It is a very hyper masculine kind of, again, cleaning the temple, but with a very white face, very strong physical makeup. And also, I would suggest that the way in which they ignore the other teachings of Jesus is that Jesus is coming back in a much stronger fashion. So they don't.
Well, that's an image of Jesus that they're cultivating.
Right.
The teachings of Jesus Christ are very, very different thing.
Right.
They're very clear. It's in the Gospels. So I don't know. I'm just asking, is that world at all interested at all in the teachings of Jesus Christ?
I think that they are. The one aspect that I can think of, because they're against.
Do they read the Bible, or do they?
Yeah,
just...
they read it. They often quote
really?
it. Yeah.
Okay. You sure?
I think one aspect that most conservative Christians are against Obamacare and nationalized healthcare and public government-funded healthcare because they believe the church should be that source of healthcare. This is why they have different Christian organizations that would pay for people's healthcare. If you think that's a teaching of Jesus, that's kind of there. But at the same time, no, there are very little aspects of the Seven Mountains mandate that are from the Gospels. They're from other parts.
Here we go.
Of the Bible.
Okay. That's what I suspected.
Okay.
Being the daughter of a retired evangelical minister and pastor.
Okay. Everybody needs an editor, though. That's the thing. God is no exception. So now,
who actually, and I want to clarify because I brought my dad up, who actually did preach the gospel, did teach the gospel, did follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, and is absolutely beyond himself appalled at what's going on. Yeah.
So since you wrote your book, it's coming out, and then the assassination happens. I'm not saying his name. I've made a vow of silence on him, but so lots of stuff has come out about this guy. It's been almost an apotheosis of him. Yeah. A lot of it is bullshit, I think. But what are the key things that people should know? Because I think when it actually happened, what I observed is a lot of people had never heard of him before. I think he's very famous in his community, but didn't have the crossover appeal, as they say. So that people that didn't know who he was, never heard of him before. I kept mixing up his name with Christian Kirk, who plays wide receiver for the Jaguars. So, or
Kirk Cameron, the other Christian white person who does a bit.
I think they did a thing to. Okay,
yes, they did.
But what should people know about him? What are the core principles of him that people should be aware of?
Well, I think one, we should start, and where and how he died. He does these campus events. So he's been doing these campus tours for many semesters. So yes, he would go to a campus, set up a chair and a tent, and take questions. And if you want to call that debate, he's been doing that for several years. That's Turning Point's bread and butter. He also had a 3-hour radio show on the biggest radio show or network in the nation. He was on and off on Fox News. And if I had to say two parts of his ideology, right, he was anti-higher education, anti-government, or anti-big government, and then, of course, a Trump sycophant from beginning to end. And I will say that, I wrote the book and we discussed with the publisher some time ago, a year or so ago, right? Do we put his name or picture on the cover? And we're like, no, because very few people outside of his crowd knew who he was. And I'm published with a religious publisher too. So it's interesting to see that when he died, to be honest with you, I was on the phone just a couple hours later with news in Australia because they wanted to know who this was. There's a turning point in Australia. It's not that big, but they wanted to know who Charlie Kirk was. I mean, I think the way in which he was assassinated gave him or introduced Turning Point to a whole other audience they never had before.
Interesting. How many, let's pivot from him for a second and talk about you, which is frankly for me more interesting anyway. Talk about how many media hits did you do? Because we saw your name in every article that I read. He's coming on the show. It's just gonna be great. Yeah.
So it's probably been a month. I've lost count. I was doing 2 or 3 a day there for quite a while. And the day after I did probably 4 or 5, and some of them were particularly long. And I tell you that story because I was supposed to meet with my students that day about writing their papers. There was a conference day for us. And they stood out in the hall and graciously waited for me to come out of the room about an hour and a half later. So I felt I needed to go into class the next day and tell them why. They had no idea, my relationship with Charlie Kirk, and they had just learned about him because he was assassinated. So I had to go through the whole story. I'm his chief critic. I wrote a book about him. It's coming out soon. You may have your other conference delayed because it comes out on the day, your conference is on the day of the book release. It was awkward silence there. And I want to mention that for a while, they did not want to touch that subject with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't understand that a little bit.
No, totally, yes.
For sure. I mean, it's like, it also, it's just,
taken,
whisked away, right? Which you can kind of, some of the stuff I can understand, but then the only other time it's in the hand of anybody, it's being delivered by the vice president on a jet. It's like, what is going on with the investigation? You've got Koff Patel saying all this crazy stuff. We've got these people in custody. So he was robbed of the dignity. And I say this as someone who has quite a bit of knowledge in this as well. When you lose a loved one to a bullet, and there's a murder investigation and a case and somebody to prosecute and and detectives and everybody involved, you know, no matter who the victim is, deserves the dignity in this country, I would hope, of a proper investigation into their murder and for the crime scene to be secured and all. So people also didn't have that. It was just all of a sudden we're right into, you know, everybody having to watch what they say because it was such an inflamed issue instead of it being a murder case, you know, and just about justice. It was just about all these other things.
And it's already fed into the culture war, which is, you know, what Turning Point is, but nonetheless.
Which is what Turning Point is.
Yeah.
So can you talk to it? When is it okay? And what do you think about the folks who do want to or have attempted to say that, you know, separate that we can be absolutely appalled at political violence, you know, at his, but it's important also for all these new people who have been sort of exposed now to who he was and what his message was to actually have heard the message. Nobody was playing his words. Nobody had none of this, especially right after, for the first couple of weeks after. I remember I was a little shocked that I felt that was also disgraceful. It's like, you know, there was all of this in the media, all this sort of praising, or I don't know what it was, mythologizing him instead of, look, he stood by his words. He stood by his thoughts. He was very vocal. He did as much media as he could about it. He went on campus, as you said, that was his whole shtick, and made sure everybody heard his words. And
there's plenty of video evidence of all that.
And there's plenty of video evidence. So why couldn't we hear his own words? Because of what?
I think that perhaps the national media, and I've talked to obviously many members since the assassination, you know, wanted to explain to their readers in as neutral way as possible who this was. Not just because of the way he died, was they did not want to come across as suggesting, you know, that they were against him or against his move, which they've been accused of that. I mean, I'm a former reporter, so the idea would be, you know, we want to tell straight, you know, who this person was. But myself, when I heard the news, and I was choked up a little bit about it because I knew that he had kids and his wife was a widow, and then, you know, I knew it was a terrible moment for our country, and I did not want to. It took me. It's been 3-4 weeks now. It took me about a week to start saying some of the things you just listed.
Why did they silence him? I just felt like that was like the most. Also, not only was this man, this victim, treated so terribly by the authorities around his murder, they didn't even get the respect of them taking care of the crime scene. Not only was that terrible to do to him, but everyone was just duct taping him after his murder. He died for his words, was what we're being told. Right. If you're going to call it an assassination, it's because then it's because of what he was saying that he died for. And yet we can't hear those words. He died for that.
I do think that the idea that he was a martyr for free speech didn't take off or become the narrative around him because they wanted to switch to the martyrdom of for Christ, the martyrdom for Jesus, because the martyrdom for free speech is not exactly a great good versus evil setup. It's kind of a neutral, everybody.
Especially when you hear his speech.
Right. So I think if they
not very Christ-like.
Right. They wanted to portray him in such a way as to upfront the Christian nationalism part, and we got that through the memorial service. There are obviously many good things people said about him, but as the show went on, we got more and more how people were using him and his name. The video clips, people have asked me, was he a civil debater? I would say he certainly didn't yell and scream at people, but while he answered their questions nicely, if you will, Turning Point is filming it, and then we'll use it later to mock and belittle the people that come and ask questions. And he personally invited those people. I want to defeat you up to the microphone first at every event. At the event that he was killed at, he said, bring me the best libs Utah has to offer. And the crowd roared because he was there to never be proven wrong, to never lose a debate. That was his way of interacting. Would you call that civil? I wouldn't even call it a debate.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's a show. It was a show.
It was a show, right. And the New York Times did a great analysis of that show over the weekend where they talked about he interrupted people, he framed questions. He was way more prepared than anybody else. He prepared for months for these things. He's obviously very smart and very well spoken, but at the same time, there's a reason why he never lost a debate.
He was the Harlem Globetrotters, and these kids running around were the Washington Generals. And it wasn't. I saw some clip, and I can't remember who it was that said this, but like she said, if people are talking about religion, stay away because they're professionals. They know exactly what they're doing. They've talked about this thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and it's your first foray into this topic. So of course they're going to win this debate.
Right.
And I think, that's why he's on college campuses. He was taking advantage of people's, I think, openness and goodwill.
Of teenagers.
Yeah. So another question I have is the fallout from this, because it seems like, he was I know what I just said is a lot of people didn't know who he was, but among the people that did, he was a big deal. And I think there was a lot expected of him or hoped of him that one day he would be president or run for president and all this kind of stuff. He was on that trajectory. And now that one of the many ramifications of this horrible, violent death is that's over. So what happens now with this group? Because it seems like there was, maybe they were going to coalesce around Erica. I don't know if they're going to. It reminded me of the because she's a woman and he's, didn't like that so much, women being in charge. That was one of his many horrible things that he thought. What do you see now happening? What do you think might happen?
Well, I do think Turning Point as a brand, and it's become a very powerful brand, is built to last. It was built to last before Charlie was killed. And it's built to last because of these 7 areas, these mountains, these cultural institutions, that they have arms of Turning Point that match all these institutions. So they can funnel this newfound money and this newfound energy and these newfound followers into all 7 of these areas and train them. And they're very good at that. They put on great events where they get people excited. So I think Turning Point itself is built to last and will last. Now, is who or what is going to be the face of it? You don't replace Charlie. It's not a one-to-one replacement. There's no protege in the wings. There are plenty of college students who wanted to be him, and college students, when they are asked, what do you want to be when you get a job? Some of them put influencer. So you can see, there's people wanting to do that. But I think that, Erica becoming the CEO was a sign that she was playing a role behind the scenes that we didn't know. She certainly has spoken at Turning Point events before. But as a widow with 2 small children, I don't know how long she can do this job. Not because she's talented or smart, but because that is a traumatic thing to go through. And then also to be the CEO of a $100 million organization, there's probably more money than that. I don't think she's going to do campus events in the same way Charlie did. She was listed as one of the speakers for one of the events coming up. We don't know which one yet, but these events they've been doing are really memorials more than anything else. There's been a rotating cast of characters at his radio show. So there isn't going to be one person that's going to replace him. But I do think Turning Point itself, because it's such a good brand now in the conservative cause, can continue on as long as the money keeps coming in. And I think Erica will be that closer with many high-profile donors, because you don't want to turn away the widow, to be crass.
Maybe they could get Jenny Thomas.
Yes,
talk about Jenny. What that, because I think people don't, that her, how close they were, and her, this was again, the January 6th and
right.
all of that.
History with Turning Point, yeah. When researching the book, I found the video of Jenny having Kirk Charlie on her podcast or show, whatever they want to call it. It says 2014, 2015-ish.
Wow.
And she was one of the first kind of big names to have him on.
She discovered him, yeah?
In many ways, yes. And she became then a advisory board member for a couple of years. And that is, again, a long list of people, very powerful people, as you might imagine, who give advice to Turning Point. She stepped down from that several years ago. So she was not involved directly with Turning Point during the insurrection years, if you will. But many people continue to post that online. But I will say that Jenny Thomas and there's some other people along the way, and Fox News being one of them, that have helped Charlie become who he was and become Turning Point what it was. And also another kind of side story to Jenny Thomas is Jenny and Clarence took in the Turning Point staff member who was
Crystal.
Yeah, Chris, who was fired for supposedly making racial comments at Turning Point, and they kind of backed off that statement and took her in for a year, and she became, I think she's a law clerk now with a famous judge after she
the Clerks. We did a whole thing called Jenny and the Clerks. Yeah.
So I mean, if that's a very tight relationship you have with Charlie, if he calls you up and say, we just fired someone for these terrible things, she probably didn't say them, but would you take her in? I think that's a pretty tight relationship.
Yeah.
Wasn't there video of her saying it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's somebody else. I thought there was video.
That's a different video. Yeah.
Oh, that's a different video. Okay.
More.
The story was that some other staffer made these texts. It's really complicated, but it was never quite told as well as it should be.
Okay. Now let's go back to the Seven Mountains, because how many of the Seven Mountains do they control?
I mean, I definitely think obviously the mountain of government have that going for them. If you think of the mountain of business as very strong capitalism, free markets, I would think that they have that. And the mountain of business is not just capitalism, free markets. It's about generating wealth quickly. And we have the president of the United States who knows something about that, and doing that for a select group of people. So I would say that. The mountain of religion, let's just be obvious, right? That's the church. So they're kind of ironic that, they say that the mountain of religion is controlled by Satan, but really obviously the church is where they operate. And I would say that they are expansive. The Seven Mountains mandate has taken over evangelical Christianity, Republican Party, 80-90% of pollsters responses to polls said they believe it. So I would think that's three. They're close on the mountain of media. I mean, you have people.
Oh, I think they're there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm not sure about entertainment, artistry, talent. I don't see that.
Oh no, that's never happening. That part's never happening.
They're artless people. These are artless people, and there's resentment about all that, which is a driving force.
Yeah.
But I think we were looking at if you look at the big places where at least we get our information.
Yeah.
We can call it news or information. That is very much siloed underneath conservative control.
Yeah, and I would mention the mountain of education too. If their main idea in the mountain of education is vouchers, there's many states that have passed expansive voucher programs, but you also now have the going back into the public schools and getting this curriculum, this Turning Point curriculum. Other people have it, but getting this kind of patriotic civics education, and Turning Point is a part of the 250th anniversary curriculum that Trump is planning. So the more that they control one mountain, obviously the government, the more they control the others. So I argue in the book that Turning Point has brought the Seven Mountains mandate as close to success as it's ever been.
And family's one of the mountains, obviously.
Yeah.
So because they have government control, they're. I think
if they overturn the overturning of gay marriage, if they overturn Obergefell, then yes, I would suggest they have victory on that one.
That seems sadly, horribly, just a matter of time. Are there other names that we should watch out for, that we should have on our radar for people that might ascend in this, not just the turning point, but across the seven mountains as we repel from mountain to mountain?
I hate this.
I know.
So sorry.
If Charlie Kirk is the third generation, there's still people there in the second generation. Rob McCoy, his pastor that he spoke at the memorial service, still around, certainly. And there's a guy named Lucas Miles, who is a pastor in Indiana. He is the head of Turning Point USA Faith, their religious arm. He certainly has a growing megachurch in Indiana. Any of the White House presidential evangelical advisory board members are going to have some connection to the Seven Mountains mandate.
Yeah. What about the guy that was just arrested, Trump's spiritual advisor that was arrested for raping a 12-year-old?
I don't think he was a Seven Mountains person, but he was certainly a wider Christian nationalism, perhaps. Turning Point's made inroads into the Southern Baptist Convention in that regard. So if you think about that, and the one name I should throw out there, who is not Southern Baptist, but is Douglas Wilson, the father of the Kirk up in Idaho. He has this massive mega church in Idaho, and they started a out Kirk in DC. I'm sorry, that is Pete Hegseth's church. Is Douglas Wilson the pastor? So Douglas Wilson. So
that's where the Qataris will be going to pray. That's
that's going to be the base. I'm sure on this on the Qatari Air Force Base there'll be a mega church. It'll be a very strange experience.
I feel like the more boring the names are, the more effective these guys are. Doug Wilson.
Charlie
Kirk,
that?
Doug Wilson.
Yeah.
No. Mike Johnson and the Mike Davis.
Oh yeah, Mike Johnson too is the Seven Mountains guy. So
yeah, he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh God.
It's bleak. So what's next on your? Are you going on a book tour? Are you done with the media? Is it just heating up for you?
I will do any podcast that wants me to have on. The book tour physically probably won't happen, but yeah, I've been around the world on Zoom talking to people about this, and I think that the book just came out on the 30th, so it's still newish to many people, and I would say that. There are different dates coming up that may be significant. Obviously, Charlie's birthday, and they're trying to make a big deal about a Memorial Day resolution in Congress. And then Turning Point will have several more events coming on. So I'm always called up to ask about those or to talk about those events. With the book itself, I don't know how long this particular Turning Point train will go. I don't know what I could say in a second book other than exposing the plan again, but we'll see. I guess I'm waiting to see what happens, in the next year. This book was mainly written in 2024. So we'll see what 25 and 26 have in store.
This might be a turning point for Turning Point.
Oh my God. No.
There's your title. That's the title for book number, 2.
Hopefully it doesn't turn bad.
As it already had, I don't know.
If it's going to turn from off of what it is, it's where do we go?
Yeah, we go.
It's a difficult axis there.
We're living in the valleys between the Seven Mountains. There's a very nice valley, and that's
a river runs through it.
So once again, your book is called "The Seven Mountains Mandate: Exposing the Dangerous Plan to Christianize America and Destroy Democracy." Matthew Boedy, this has been fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks, Matthew. Oh my gosh.
That was great.
How did he
I learned
do
a lot.
it?
I learned a lot.
I learned a lot, but how did he do it? How does he do it?
I watched maybe an hour of Charlie Kirk stuff because of the thing that I wrote, and that was plenty. That was enough for a lifetime for me,
Thank you, Matthew, for doing it.
God bless him. He's doing yeoman's work. He's doing yeoman's work. All right.
Okay, and it's important to understand these the folks that are determined to crush who we are and our way of life and our the way that our nation was founded.
Yeah.
And the promise of America. It's kind of important to understand who our neighbors are, our fellow Americans are that actually want to bring that all to an end.
Yeah.
And do their own version.
What a boring, sad, awful life it would be to live that way. Like, just Lee Greenwood on the, even if you go by what they want the halftime show to be, this shit music, boring, bland.
Where is that going to air?
Terrible.
Is it YouTube? What?
Who knows? I don't know, and I don't care.
Oh God!
Because I'm not changing the channel from the Bad Bunny. I guess
no
they can
one's
be like
gonna
the
not
Bunny.
watch.
They could be like the Easter Bunny. They should call it Easter Bunny. Easter Bunny versus Bad Bunny. That could be like the thing. Remember, like the Bud Light Bowl. They should do that. It would be great.
Okay, I can't think about it anymore. I can't.
That's fine. Let's talk about something happier. Okay.
Okay.
Fourth topic: Gaza. Oh.
Gaza. Okay, so we kind of got into this when we were talking about Jarvanka returning.
Yeah.
But yeah, what more do we want to say about?
I want to say, like, there's been a lot of brouhaha about now there is peace in the Middle East because Trump did something, and if he did, and if there is, all power to him. I don't want to take anything away from it.
Yeah.
But like, this thing started because Hamas went in and took hostages. So until all the hostages are released, as far as I'm concerned, this is all noise. I find it really, really interesting that all of this ramp up to let's make peace in the Middle East happen the week that they're going to release the name and the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
I don't think that was coincidental. I think Trump's entire interest in this, other than the real estate and money aspect, is that he thought maybe it would help him win that vote in there and get him the award. And now that he has not won it, even though the person that did win it is a right winger from Venezuela who dedicated the award to him, I don't know that that's going to be enough to sate his, maw of need.
No, he can't stand it that Barack Obama got an award and he doesn't have it.
He's never going to get it.
Right. It's that the same reason why he asked for Lincoln's Bible to be sworn in on in his first inauguration. He demanded the Smithsonian let him do that because Barack Obama had, and he just wanted to put his hand on it and just erase.
Oh, do you want to play I can play the Nobel thing because they asked.
Oh yeah, let's play. Well, they asked. You can kind of. It's quite a bit of shade there. I think the other thing is sort of important we should have pulled up is all of the violent, hateful rhetoric on top of the adjudicated rape, on top of the sexual assault, on top plural, on top of the what he's done to people who are actually here, some of them here legally, with ICE, to everything. For the audacity of that kind of human being, wanting to be acknowledged for peace.
It's really something. Okay, we could the way that this is
Vice President Donald Trump has repeatedly said he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and he'd like to have it. He even said that it would be an insult to the United States if he doesn't get it. What does as the chairman of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, think of this, and how has this campaign-like activity by the president and his supporters, domestically and internationally, affected the deliberations and the thinking in the committee?
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee have seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
Oh, courage and integrity.
Courage and integrity.
2 words that at the end of the day, Donald Trump is the biggest coward. He really is.
Yeah.
I think that defines him more than any other trait, which is saying something because he has a lot of bad traits. And,
I think the liars. I think
maybe the liars. Yeah.
I think the liar is bigger.
Yeah.
The way in which he lies, it's astonishing.
It is.
I don't think there's ever been a human being that lies with the alacrity of that man has. It's so, yeah.
Mike Johnson's been giving him a run for the money this week, I have to say.
Yeah, he's been trying, but it's still Mike Johnson.
No, it's not. It's the servant and the master here. You know, he's still learning from the great Oz or whatever. He's got a long way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Call me when the hostages are released. That's all I'm saying. I hope that they are. I really, I know I'm being like glib right now, but obviously that's what I've wanted since day one with this. And it's baffled me. I remember when it happened, because it was right about the time that we were going to do the show, I think. And I thought to myself, what would I do if I was in charge to get these hostages back? And I'm sorry, almost nothing that Netanyahu has done has been with that outcome in mind, as far as I can tell. I mean, that isn't the objective.
And listen, a much higher court than you and I, the highest court when it comes to international crimes, found him guilty of war crimes. So I also don't understand how, I don't think it's a peace plan if we, one, haven't seen the plan, two, the hostages haven't been released yet, but three, it doesn't include anything about the war crimes.
Right. Yeah.
How can you, there's no, it's not peace. It's a pause until a newly awakened force rises to try to find justice for the war crimes. We're kicked into another 2,000-year-old, the beginning of a new 2,000-year-old thing if this doesn't get addressed. It's the furthest. It's just people can't pull out enough to see that. This is the furthest thing from peace if there is not accountability for the war crimes.
Yeah.
It's the furthest thing from peace. It's really, truly the beginning of a new 2,000-year war. It's just, it's gobsmacking. Again, I'm gobsmacked.
Yeah. And the media is just fawning it like it's happened.
Oh.
Like, oh my God, like he's Otto von Bismarck and it's the fucking treaty of this is not, Trump is not a great statesman. He just isn't. No. He just goes in it's like slow horses. He's goes in the room in farts and hopes that people move because they want to leave the room quickly. I think that's his entire negotiating tactic.
That's right.
He doesn't understand anything about.
Those farts are happening.
He still thinks Puerto Rico has a president.
I can't.
Yeah. He was president for 4 years. He's now been president almost a whole other year. He still doesn't know this. Like,
I think he knows it. He's just he really. There's so much of this that is cartooning for his base. There's so much of it that is.
I do think he's very stupid, though. I mean, I do, in that sense. Like, why does he care? You know, does he think Bad Bunny is an actual bunny?
He just gets a grievance, and that's it.
I know.
He was pissed about Puerto Rico from a whole Puerto Rico real estate thing that went down 20, 30 years ago.
The other thing we were going to say about this topic is how essential it is, or was heretofore, for Netanyahu and his crew to have the backing of the evangelical community in the United States.
That's what I wanted to keep Matthew on for, that question of like, and what's happening now that there are some big figures within the Turning Point universe and the MAGA universe that are coming out as very anti-Israel. They always had been, but they're really vocalizing it and using Turning Point's former leader's murder as a galvanizing thing against Israel, which is why Bibi Netanyahu came out and was like, we didn't kill him. Remember that?
Yeah,
right off the bat. It's like, no one asked if you did. Why are you doing this? Very weird, because I think you could see that, there had been some behind the scenes fallout going down between this alliance that had been made, this sort of transactional deal that had been made years ago between the evangelical Christian community and Israel. And I don't mean that wasn't always in place for the Christians who follow the actual scripture and the teachings of Jesus. I'm talking about this very particular thing that Matthew came on to talk about, this sort of 7 mountains and these megachurch pastors and this new era of mega Christian nationalism. Those folks, Israel's been really courting them big time.
Yeah,
for a while.
because the tenet in that faith line is that when the Jews return to Israel and have power, the rapture will come. Right. Which is, I think, no one that believes the rapture is imminent should be in charge of anything political and should not have any hands on nuclear weapons or anything like this. But I wanted to.
It's just symbolic too, and you know, and Donald in his first term, you know, moved that. There was that symbolic gesture of moving the embassy.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. And all that did was harm people. That's all it did.
Yeah. So now, it's been a whole thing. I don't know where it's headed. The
other piece we have to talk about real quick, because I know that the timer went off. Peter Thiel gave a series of lectures that the Washington Post had an exclusive report about, that they were supposed to be off the record. Somebody recorded them. They did the recording. They ran a photo of him looking incredibly both sweaty and Nazi. I don't know if there's
always looks like that though.
He's like Swatsy. I don't know. It's there's a word there that we have to try to coin, because he's the sweatiest motherfucker.
Is he a sweatsika?
Yeah, sweatsika. That's good. That's good. That's it. That wins. Okay. But he said, he used the word Antichrist, and they were talking about that. In his view, anybody that's opposed to AI and the eventual AI takeover of everything is so horrible that they should be portrayed as the Antichrist. And the first time I read that, I was like, yeah, whatever. But what apparently my understanding is that what he said in these lectures is we have to equate it to the Antichrist. We have to give it a religious undertone. Otherwise, people won't understand the importance of it. So what he was talking about really was basically just manipulating these people. I think the same group of people that are being manipulated because they think the rapture is coming, into believing that the Antichrist has something to do with people who are pushing back against AI.
Yeah.
Like in a calculated...
The embrace and the advancement of AI needs to have the structure and intent of military grade propaganda out of intelligence agencies. That's me decoding it for you. So it's make it a religious crusade for AI, and then people can be activated in that part of the brain that has them. Anybody who's opposed to this, we've got to shut them down and stop that, and it gives it a momentum. Or it's gonna. They're not. I think the fear is that as AI becomes ubiquitous very quickly, which it will, it's sort of like electricity and everything, right? It will kind of move out of the control of people like him, who want to control it and shape society using it. If it just sort of is everywhere, it can't be focused in the manner that he wants to focus it.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, insofar as he's logical at all, because who knows with him?
Yeah, isn't this the guy that's like collects urine from?
He's
very weird
and dumb. He's not as smart as he thinks he is.
Not as smart as he thinks he is.
Do we have any announcements?
Well, do you want to talk about? Well, next weekend is
No Kings.
No Kings. We'll have a show right before it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if you announced.
I did. But I'm speaking at No Kings in Kingston, New York on October 18th.
That was good.
Just me and my Antifa buddies, we're just gonna Antifa there. And before we parade and collect our Soros paychecks.
Oh God.
Yeah, I wish, right?
Oh my God. No, I mean, that fantasy is so bizarre. I know where the origins of the whole George Soros thing come from. There's real clear origins to that, and it pulls the
the protocols of the
elders some wool off of the whole
MAGA.
thing.
Yeah.
No, it was all about it. Truly has a connection to Mogilevich, and it just does. It just Soros was funding he was the whole thing about weaponizing George Soros came into the discourse from these very bad actors who had close connections to some criminal networks, I guess is the best, more blanket way to say it. But it was right at the time that George Soros had hired his group, not him personally, but his group had hired Bob Levinson to go as a private contractor to go hunt down Mogilevich. And that's when the whole world started to learn they started to hear the name George Soros, and it was all being weaponized through Bill O'Reilly and Rush Limbaugh.
Right. Okay. I forgot about that. See, this is, know all this stuff.
I know all this stuff. I wish I didn't.
Do you have any announcements?
Do I have any announcements? I mean, no.
No.
I don't. I think we should all show up on next Saturday. I'll find a place to be. I don't know. We're very absorbed with the beaver. It's taken all my time to try to get rid of this beaver. We have a beaver, and it's just wreaking havoc. So we're at war, unfortunately.
Okay.
And we're going to win this. I don't think the beaver's going to win, because this beaver doesn't have, shotguns.
Right.
Just has his
might makes right.
Might makes right. He just has his. I just learned that how because it's a juvenile beaver, and look, he's really destroying things. He's really he's
the MAGA beaver.
He's really taking down the trees. At first, you're like, "Oh no, poor beaver!" Oh, and then you're like, "Oh my God, the beaver just ate another tree." And like we have trees that are old. This is protected land. He's a very dangerous beaver. And there's a historic cemetery that's going to get flooded. It's bad. And so how he dams also, it's like, how is it that the mud, juveniles use a lot of mud, and it's like, is that mud? It's not mud. It's not mud. It's
okay.
Not mud.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
With his tail, smacking it into place with his tail.
So he's like one of the maggots that stormed the Capitol.
An insurrectionist.
Yes. Okay.
He is an insurrectionist.
He's an insurrectionist beaver. I think that should be the title of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got these big dogs, these collies. I'll tell you this story because we're not doing an after hours. So here's my after hours content for you. Literally, the elderly collie, bless him, the sweetest dog in the world, who can barely see. I don't even know that he can hear. Up at 3 a.m. gets me up at 3 a.m. to go out because now my job also is apparently because I have to support. This is one of the elders that I support in the house. Is we have to go out at 3 a.m. and bark at the beaver. That's a job now that I do.
I did not. I was not aware of this. I will say for people watching, I'm not really a dog person, but it is a very cute dog. It's a very cute dog.
It's a very cute dog. I know you're not.
Yeah. But
MAGA only has so many allies in the beaver world, Hunt says. It's true. Anyway, I don't want to bark at the beaver anymore at 3 a.m. I don't want, my husband coming in, with like smelling the way he smells to try to undo the beaver dam. And the more we undo the work the beaver's doing, the more he chews down more trees. It's a vicious cycle. The beaver's got to go. Bye-bye, beaver. So I'll have an announcement when that beaver's gone. You'll have an announcement. You'll have a new stole. No, I won't do that. But I will sleep peacefully. That's good. Yeah. I will sleep peacefully. Yeah. Call the wild animal. Right? They do have wild animal rescuers. Have you tried that? Yeah, it's $600 just for them to show up, and then every night that they're here. It's another, I don't know how, we would quickly end up spending thousands of dollars to protect the beaver that's literally taking its feces and putting it on our property after it chewed down my mother's favorite tree that she planted with her grandson. No. Bye-bye, beaver. I don't care. I lost my cute and cuddly fuzziness. And they're all over the place out here. I mean, it's like the beavers are making a comeback. Oh, the Canadian lynx are coming back.
Oh.
This is a great announcement, a wildlife announcement that's really good. So, we have to be careful around that. But they can get your dogs and cats and all that. But this was a species that had almost, we have bald eagles on our property. These species that were going extinct. I know there's a lot of heartache in animal lover community of what the kind of extinctions we're facing. Yes, the birds are doing strange migrational things. It's all very scary, but good news. It looks like the Canadian lynx. Oh no, for sure. The Canadian lynx is back in New York.
Okay. That's good.
I have video proof.
Don't tell anybody where they are, because ICE might send them back to Canada.
Probably try to send them back to Canada.
We don't want that.
They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful animals. And I'm so happy. Made me cry that they're back.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah. And the beavers are back. There's no shortage of beavers.
Right.
There are many, many, many beavers, and they are rodents. And you know why also? Even if we wanted to pay thousands of dollars I can't stop talking about this beaver. It's really gotten to me. Even though, we could, if we chose to spend thousands of dollars in the time of I can barely afford groceries to cart this little, destruction force of evil off of the property and give it we also heard from them. It's we don't know whether we could relocate this beaver because we're being prevented from doing that because they're spreading disease.
Okay.
So they're also spreading disease. They're spreading disease because they go like this and they go like that on the walls that they build.
Okay. So if there's a beaver plague, we know who's responsible. Not so
cute and fuzzy anymore. I just see a giant rat mixed with a raccoon. It's not fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't come for me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. I'm telling you, they're okay.
I believe you.
They
You are an animal.
No,
you're an animal
Paul.
lover.
No, Paul. I promise you, my family's been here longer than that beaver.
It's true. This beaver, it's just one guy. He's just a roving beaver.
We protect the park. I got to get rid of this beaver.
I think you do.
Sorry. Don't hate me. I don't know how to do it. I can't get rid of it.
I don't know. I will not advise. I'm not. That's not my bailiwick, frankly.
It was not mine either.
Yeah. Well, I get woken up at 3 a.m. by my cats. They're not even a beaver to bark at. They just want the door open for some reason.
Yeah.
They're oh, you're sleeping. No, you can't do that. Why would you do that?
I saw a funny thing, Greg, and then we'll move on to the last thing. I saw a funny thing of someone put a thing up. I think it was on social media of do you lock your door? You're somebody. And it sounded like I was reading it. I was like, oh my God, people are so traumatized that they lock their doors. And then everybody underneath figured it out. It's oh, you're a cat person. Because it's if you can't get to sleep unless you lock your bedroom door because the cats come in and
yeah.
Anyway, I thought of you.
My cats are still young. Once they're old enough, we can leave the door open. It'll be fine. But right now, it's not working. Okay, last topic. So we're running a little late, which is fine because we're going to do it after hours. We're not going to do it after hours. This is kind of a quasi after hours topic anyway. I felt like we just, we have to honor what AOC said. We have to laugh at them because despite all of the horror, and there's so much horror, which we've covered a lot of, these are fucking clowns. Okay, I put in the video, but let's watch this again just to see how fucking stupid Stephen Miller is. Okay. The guy who's running the country, by the way. This is the man who's running the country. Okay, here we go.
Okay, but
insurrection.
What were you going to say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Abide by that ruling?
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen?
What is that?
Steven?
Is it because he said a word he wasn't supposed to
Stephen,
say?
can you hear me?
That's the theory. Because he's clearly fine.
He's fine. He's just
Stephen, I apologize. It
he's
seems
like,
like we're having a technical.
I got to get out of
There's
this.
no technical anything. Either he got really excited and had to like tamp it down, which is possible, or he shouldn't have said plenary authority, because that just means we want him to be like Hitler, after the Enabling Act. But there is no Title 10 of the U.S. Code. Like, he says the shit that has the meaning. So I think what I want to do is I want to go around all weekend and just be like, Title 10 of the U.S. Code, under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, I have plenary authority to finish my gin drink right now.
Yeah.
Just say that before anything, and it makes it sound more like if you're in an argument with like somebody at the mall or whatever,
Yeah.
Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, I have plenary authority to return these jeans. They don't fit.
Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, I have plenty of authority to try to find Stephen Miller's wife and return her from Elon Musk back to Stephen Miller's home.
Whoa.
This guy also, under Title 10, I have the plenty of authority to declare that is the most repulsive person. I thought Trump was really into like how people looked, right? Look at this attorney woman he found out, like the Hope Hicks or whatever, the one he found, and he made did he make her a judge? No, he made her a prosecutor. He did something with her.
Dollar store Hope Hicks, let's call her. Yeah.
A dollar store Hope Hicks, but you could see he likes looking at her, right? He likes looking at her. He likes looking at Pete Hegseth.
Oh,
he likes the Botox guy. He's into it. He's into his hair's done, and he likes casting people. Mm-hmm. The worse you are and the dumber you are and the more sycophantic, the better. But you've got to you got to look okay for this guy, I thought. And so I have this theory about Stephen Miller. I think the reason why people go on like Jesse Walters, because we know Trump watches Waters, whatever his name is. We know Trump watches him. And he'll do whole big long shticks just talking about Stephen Miller being this virile guy. It's very bizarre. But he'll spend all his airtime just praising Stephen Miller's, what did he call him? A matador in the bedroom?
His wife called him a sexual matador.
What
is a matador? A matador is a guy that just gets out the way when the bull shows up. I think that's kind of a confession, maybe. I don't know.
Or he gets her so aroused, she charges women so aroused that they charge him. Like, this whole thing needs to be said about him, because I really do believe, I think Trump's like, and he's listening to him, and Stephen's saying all the right, Hitlerist things, and he's got that down, and that's great, and he wants to do the ice with the ice Barbie and everything. But I do think Donald's just like, I don't know about this guy. I don't know. He's like, he's so unattractive, and I'm not trying to hit at his looks. You
can hit at his looks.
There's something so bizarre, and just the word in my industry, unfortunately, my old industry, was unfuckable, and he's just so unfuckable. So it's like, I think Trump knows this. I do.
Oh, it was watching him. Laura Ingraham, I don't know what she was thinking, showing him react to the AOC video. When AOC is saying, I think he's 4'10",
yeah,
she doesn't really mean 10. Read 10 means inches. That's what she's saying. And he's there trying to laugh and he can't do it. They all love AOC, these guys. That's why they're obsessed with her.
They're obsessed with her.
So, like, that not only is it an insult, it's the insult from the worst possible person for him, I think.
Right.
Being insulted by
but she is talking about, like, remember, she got that from me. Remember I was talking about Putin being 4'10", and that's like these little Napoleonic complexed men. You got to hit at them for that.
Yeah,
as your song demonstrated in that way.
Not my song.
Not your song.
20 Fingers and Gillette, shout out. I hope they like it, because we're not.
I hope they like it.
It's satire, man. What else? There's so many funny things this week, though. Trump not winning the Peace Prize is funny. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's the best thing.
It's just.
He really wanted it. He really,
loser.
really just went for it. Yeah.
Here's after hours content for you. Okay. So one time I ran for office when I was in high school. I don't remember what I ran for. I didn't care. So it was me and this woman who was in my art class who sat next to me in art, and neither of us, I don't even know why she ran. It was stupid. And then somebody that clearly had won before and should be the person that was the thing.
Wanted the job.
Yeah. So the person that should have won. And Jessica and I both lost in the art class. And the art teacher said, after they made the announcement, he was like, well, now it can be truthfully be said that I have 2 losers in this classroom. And so we can say that about Trump.
Yeah.
You know, he's a loser. He lost. And it's something that he clearly really wanted and he couldn't get it. There's
nothing. I mean, he'll drop a nuclear bomb and say, there, I brought peace. I need my peace prize. It's that he's not going to get it. And if he does get it, it's not going to have any value anymore because we all know he just probably bought it, you know, or he strong-armed it. When you want something and you're that thirsty, when you are such a Real Housewives, I can't believe Andy Cohen hasn't showed up and just cast all of these, you know, all of these characters, all these men, from Pete Hegseth to Stephen Miller to Donald Trump. And who's it? Oh, JD Vance. We keep forgetting about JD Vance. Look at how
he's eminently forgettable.
Look at how we just forgot about him.
And this is a segment in which we're mocking people, and we haven't talked about JD Vance yet. That's how crazy everything.
I am not kidding you. I completely forgot he existed. In my head, Pete Hegseth is the VP, right? Because of the way they do their dog and pony show together. So and the Botox. So I totally forgot about JD Vance.
Chuck Schumer made a couch fucker joke this week.
Oh, he did.
It wasn't a very good one, but
no,
at least he tried. At least he's finally getting on the, on the train there.
Oh my God.
Okay, so those things are funny. We haven't made any hay about Melania with her open channel to Putin. I mean, great that if there's like kids that got out of there, obviously great. I don't want to make fun of that. If that's real and she really did that, great. I don't want to take anything away.
No.
But why does she have an open channel to Putin, though? It seems strange. Seems weird to me.
I don't know.
Remember, she wrote him that letter.
Channel to Putin.
She wrote him that letter in Alaska that ended with "It is time."
Oh yeah, it is time.
Which I read as a 2-week notice or something, but I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Get me out of this lease. I need to get out of this lease. I demand to be traded.
She doesn't live in DC, right?
That's the scuttlebutt is no, she does not. But
I didn't know it was.
I don't know.
Supposed to be something that was secret.
I don't know that it's secret. I can't. I'm not there, so I don't want to say something that isn't.
Can we make fun of Barron? No.
Yeah, why not?
I guess so. I don't know what he's doing.
He's in DC. He's at the NYU campus in DC. That's where he is.
Oh, okay. He's at NYU DC.
Yeah, NYU too woke for him.
Yeah. Well, I actually okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
somebody was talking about the girlfriend of a founder of Antifa. They were on these Fox News stations talking about, well, the girlfriend of the Antifa founder, which is basically, I guess, the equivalent of the girlfriend that lives in Canada or something. Like, what does that even mean?
Who's the Antifa founder?
What's fucking Antifa isn't a thing. And if it was a thing, it stands for anti-fascist. So it means we don't like fucking Nazis, which is most of the country. Most of the country is Antifa. All of the veterans of World War II who fought for the Allies are Antifa. And Trump has declared them terrorists. So I know that they're
just to bring it back to the No Kings March, that got weaponized as well. Of like, who was it? Somebody came out and was like, it's all going to be. This tells me how worried they are about it. They're probably getting projections on numbers because of the amount of people signing up and the organizing about it. And so they're saying we've got to, they want this civil war. They're going to bring people, troops into the streets and everything. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. The numbers are going to be overwhelming, the number of people that show up. So that's going to end up just blowing up in their face as well. Not in a violent way, just in a all of this,
way,
all this embarrassing stuff. And still there's no Epstein files. Release the fucking Epstein files, right? That still hasn't happened. All of these distractions and all this stuff and all this, wars ending and and peace prizes and everything, all this noise that's just brewing. And we still, come on, what do you got, Krasnov?
They're not going to release. They're never going to release the Epstein.
Yeah, they're never going to swear that women.
As long as he's in charge and his Pam Bondi that he paid $8 million to before she took office, that ain't happening. It's not happening. Mike Johnson looks like he'll do anything to prevent that vote from happening, including keeping the government shut down and not paying our service members this month.
Yeah. Let's see how long this lasts.
I don't know. And it's all because they don't want. So again, we asked the same question. What is it, Donald? What you hiding? What's in there?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What's on those tapes? The other thing, again, mockery, right? Right before the show, we're going to put 100% tariff on China. It's like he's like the Queen of Hearts in the fucking Alice in Wonderland, throwing it off with their heads, and everyone knows it's bullshit and stupid. Yeah. It's a joke at this point.
Yeah.
If they do that, that will destroy the economy, which I believe that's what he's here to do. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what he's here. He's installed.
And the tariffs haven't done it yet, so maybe that's the nail in the coffin or whatever. But like, it
is kind of getting through, though. I do think it's like giving $20 billion. This is the string of really well thought through things for your base. $20 billion to an Argentinian president while you're furloughing workers and not paying them.
Argentinian. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That guy then puts himself in head to toe leather and goes and tries to be a rock star and puts on a rock concert. It's the worst music ever. It's so embarrassing. We don't have to mock this. He's mocking Donald just by like, thanks for the $20 billion. And he's on stage. That's his job as president, I guess, being like the worst reject from American Idol that ever could be. So there's that. Then on top of that we're also we're going to bail out the soybean farmers who don't want to bail out. They want their industry back, and they're clear about that. And they're really being cast as the people who are like these prideful people, like you're just going to solve this problem with a one-time government bailout, a handout. I have to now take a handout to save my legacy family farm because you destroyed with these tariffs with China. Now he's still fighting with China. It doesn't make him feel any better. They want the market open back up. So that's another failure. Fail on this. They're all asking questions about the Epstein files. Even Joe Rogan is kind of going, wait a minute. I think the Democrats want that. Why do they want? Oh my God. Because again, that was all framed for years and years and years. Jeffrey Epstein is only being a Democrat, covering up for Democrats. So why are the Republicans blocking it and the Democrats wanting it released? It's all starting to, he's not like it's super genius here. It's not sustainable.
No.
It's just going to come down to brute force. And if people take to the streets on the 18th and just march in your costumes, have your funny signs, show your embrace of our First Amendment and your right to assemble, and just be happy. Do what Portland's doing, just show up and be jolly and mock people, and through your joy and your love of country and fairness and care for one another. I think it's got a shot. I'm not going to say we're going to get through this that way, but I mean, we've got no choice but to wake up and start another day.
We do. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been a fun show. So I hope we mocked enough. Did we mock enough? Any more mockery? We haven't even talked about RFK and the circumcision Tylenol discussion. This is like, there's so much dumb shit. There's so fucking stupid.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it either.
I got to go try to sleep through the beaver.
Sleep through the beaver. Have a great weekend, everybody.